Cool.
Let's go. Okay. Come on.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
We see the chat is already in action, so this is really good. By the way, this is Ryan Mason.
Yes.
He's a very good friend of ours. Started out just a viewer like all of you. I didn't mean to say that condescendingly. He just was a viewer, and we crossed paths, and he comes and plays with us a lot.
He's become a very good friend.
Yeah. He is also a teacher. He teaches kids. So I think he was someone we really wanted to have here for this discussion. He's a teacher of children. We coach, and we have 5 of our own children. So we're going to get right into this.
And
all right.
He's a father too, so he has a
child. Yes. I have a little baby at home. My son, 10 months old. His name is Weston. Love him to death. Hopefully one day he'll make a cameo here on the show.
He will soon.
It's a good kid.
I hope so.
By the way, I won't make long of this because I know no one cares, but Ryan has created something called the Dolphin Island Cup. He comes here to play some of us, and he has created a Dolphin Island Cup, and he even had a trophy made for the Dolphin Island Cup.
Yes.
So I'll show them real quick. Make sure they can see this because I won't be able to. So can they see where it says?
Yep, we can. Let's go. There you go. You can see
Okay.
it. Perfect.
And then he went in so far as to get a second place trophy, and it's a half of a horse's ass. Mm-hmm. And here's the second place trophy.
You can go closer. Better next time.
Better next time.
Yeah.
And it says participation.
So how we're going to do this is right now we've all been playing and we're all 1-1.
All of us.
Someone has won one and someone has lost one. No one's undefeated. Carla and Ryan played today. We didn't film it. It was so hot, so it wasn't going to be high intensity. But Carla won that match. Good match. But we will continue filming those matches, and we will present a Dolphin Island Cup and a horse's ass.
Yeah, and this morning I was the horse's ass. Shout out to Carla. She was the better player today, and well done. So,
thank you. Thank you. Sorry. But at the same time, I feel like you usually.
Well, it was a hot day.
It happens.
It was a hot day. It wasn't my day, and it's that is sports, and that's something that I'm going to talk about today a little bit with you guys because as a teacher, as a tennis coach, as a tennis player. I believe I compiled a record in my USTA days of somewhere around maybe 200 victories and about 80 losses. Okay.
Yeah.
So solid record. I lost about 80 times. That's an approximation. I don't know for a fact, but I think I'm around, 70% win, but you lose 80 times. That's a lot, but in sports, it's going to happen. Nobody's going to win every time. In racing, nobody wins every race. Nobody leads every lap. In boxing, even the winning fighter will still get hit and still get knocked down sometimes. It happens. And that's one thing that we're going to talk about today is that adversity in sports. It's there for a reason. Maybe it's a privilege even. Mm-hmm. Maybe the best thing that can happen to an athlete sometimes is to experience what happened to me today because you know what? I'm not happy that I lost, but I learned. What I learned is that I didn't play well enough. So,
all right.
Straight up.
Fair enough. Great match. Starting out with a couple of shout outs. First shout out, before we even started the show, we had 4 thumbs down right off the get-go because of the title. The title, mental health issues becoming a trend or becoming a thing in sports, quitting. It's nothing new about this. It's just new to a lot of people because now you have the news in your hand. But as athletes, lifetime athletes, if you're a lifetime athlete, you've heard this story 1,000 times. There's nothing new about human beings being depressed or being stressed out. That's one of our emotions or senses that we are all born with. And we have been on this planet for about 10,000 years or so. Anyway. But a shout out to everyone that gave a thumbs down strictly off of the title. Obviously, you don't know us. We're very objective. We all have children and we all mean everything respectively. Number 1. Second shout out is to Team Australia. And this has to do with the Olympics. One of my biggest things in life is sportsmanship. If you're not a good sport, a good sportsman or sportswoman, then who the hell are you, honestly? In the women's 4x100 meter relay in swimming, these 4 young ladies won, and they actually broke the world record. The names were Kate Campbell, Bronte Campbell, Meg Harris, and Emma McKeon. They defended their title from Rio in 2016, the same race, but they did it this time in world record fashion. That's not why I bring this up. The sportsmanship is here. Because of COVID-19, the pandemic, they are all forced to swim or all the athletes are forced to be segregated from people. They don't have any audience outside of necessary staff. One of the reasons why this is such a big sportsmanship deal is because this goes beyond sportsmanship. It goes to intelligence as well. Has anyone ever heard of chivalry?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, chivalry. You know, in the days of old, you know, knights would raise their helmets before jousting, hence why we have the salute these days, and on and on. After they won, because of COVID-19, the judge or umpire or the representative has to bring their medals out on a tray, right? You know, the chivalrous thing is where they bow over and the umpire rests the medal on their neck. And this is kind of like a knight being knighted, you know. I dub thee, Sir Davis, into the Tennis Hall of Fame. Let's get down. That's how I roll. Let's go. But all jokes aside, that's like being dubbed your medal, right? So because of that, they're getting handed a tray, and they just put the medal on themselves. Well, how do you dub yourself anything?
You can't.
I would dub myself a millionaire like 25 years ago. All I'm getting at is this. The athletes were smart enough to grab the medal out of the tray and to hang the medal on their teammate's neck. Now, if you don't really care as much as I do about sportsmanship, it won't make any deal to you or not. But it made a big deal to me. They dubbed each other gold medal winners.
Another term is comradeship. Mm-hmm. You know, that my comrade, I respect you for what you did for this team.
Go.
That's a good word too. Not only is it chivalrous, but to show that comradeship, to show that solidarity that we are one unit.
Go.
That's a really good gesture.
Go Australia.
It's a great gesture to the country and a great gesture to that team.
You know,
Michael Walker said you're back, by the way.
Yeah.
Because you said you weren't going to do another video.
I don't even want to get into that. I was frustrated. Okay. I forgot what I was going to say after that because he checked my math like always and he got that math
said
right.
Napoleon crowned himself emperor.
Well, he had short man syndrome.
Yeah.
He was short.
He had a complex.
Let me give a shout out to someone right now because Gene, good luck on your geography test tomorrow that you study for. But his brother is going through some panic attack and apparently he's getting a lot of them. So I'm sure that the whole family's worried about him. Hopefully you guys, the doctors will tell you something. And I was chatting with you. My brother went through the same thing. They would call 911, the ambulance would show up, and they figured out it was a lot of stress. He was dealing with a lot of stress. I think you remember when he was going through the panic attacks, he couldn't breathe. It was hard for him to breathe. Talk to him, find out there's something. Maybe there's a problem that you guys don't know about, and maybe he's keeping it to himself. Sometimes that causes panic attacks. Not sure. I'm not a doctor, but just saying. Yeah,
and it's like Justin always says, it's very tough out there. And we feel for you, we're thinking about you. And, as a teacher, if a student comes to me with something like that, I take it very seriously and I want to help them and I want to help their family, and all of us here care greatly about the mental health of people. We look at it from the sports world as there's going to be pressure. It's going to be hard. There's going to be loss. There's going to be moments where it feels like you just can't go on anymore. And we can talk about how to handle that openly here because we are an open forum, but by no means do we ever begrudge anybody for what they're dealing with.
But I'm going to give someone some shit. I'm going to give someone some hell when they deserve it. That I can go ahead and tell you.
You can say that.
I'm going to definitely give them.
I think Ryan is the nice one.
He's the nice guy.
This is the evil dude right here.
Yeah.
And I'm just
not going to come from over on this neck of the woods. Okay. When I was a junior tennis player, my father, I say my first coach, we had a spectrum of coaches, but
good back copy, somebody said.
But my dad would lay into my ass if I did not win or lose, walk off the court with my opponent. In other words, let's say I just play a first round match or a third round match or a final, and I win or lose. I had better wait, grab my gear, and walk off the court with the opponent so we can go turn in our scores, do what we got to do. But nowadays, even in the pros, someone loses, they get their bag, and they walk off the court, and the winner's staying on court. And anyway, I only brought up the sportsmanship with the gold medals because in tennis these days, you see very little good sportsmanship.
Yes.
Yet when I was a boy, sportsmanship was paramount. What does this mean, man?
Do you know one thing, and this has been off topic for me, and I don't know if you've noticed this, how often do you see in junior tournaments anymore the losing opponent congratulating the other opponent or their family?
No, rarely.
Yeah. And that's the thing about it is that, by no means do I love losing, but when I lose, I always give my opponent credit. I did it back in my tournament days. When I played tournaments, somebody would ask me in the crowd, hey, why did you lose the match? I said, the guy played better than I did. He's like, what? Yeah. I mean,
I did the same thing.
There's no mystery to that.
I said, great match. You played well.
Yeah,
good luck in the next round.
All right.
What do you do?
For those that see title and we talk about everything, but I'm going to get right into the mental health as parents and coaches for a long time, 22 years coaching for me. We have children that are 18 years old. 19, sorry. And he teaches roomfuls of those age children. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of stuff written here, a bunch of different topics that have to do with a lot of different things. So if you're one of the staunch 5K fams, stick through the whole thing. But otherwise, if you're just title hunting, we're going to get right into this. Okay. So first of all, let me kind of lay the foundation where we're going with this. Number one, Simone Biles is not out yet of the entire Olympics, but she has withdrawn from numerous events citing mental health issues. Number one. Number two, Naomi Osaka loses. Nothing reference to mental health here, but she has been on that train, if you know what I'm saying. So she didn't further that here. She just lost, okay? What are each one of your thoughts on these events, even though separate as a whole? Do you think that this is becoming a trend to cite mental health issues when maybe we don't feel our best or we don't want to admit defeat or we can't? I'm going to shut up. What do you think? Is this becoming a trend in the sports world and the rest of the world to hypothetically quit and cite mental health issues when previously some of these athletes have been at the very highest level and have won 4 gold medals and 4 majors respectively? I'll shut up.
I'll let you go first.
Okay. Well, it is becoming a trend, and it's not a good trend, in my opinion. And again, like I said earlier, all respect to people's mental health is something that should be taken very seriously. In the world of sports, Djokovic said this very well the other day. I quoted him. I saw this on the news. He says, Djokovic quotes, "Pressure is a privilege players need to learn to deal with. Without pressure, there is no professional sports." Justin has a secondary quote that he was going to piggyback off of that as well.
All right. We didn't even write this in the same house. He didn't even know he was going to be sitting here until an hour ago.
Yeah.
And we wrote the same thing. Novak Djokovic gave 3 quotes when he was asked in an interview about Osaka and Simone Biles. And his response was, quote number 1 that Ryan just indicated, "Pressure is a privilege, my friend." Okay, that's his quote. Pressure is a privilege, my friend.
And that's why he is who he is.
The next quote, just like Ryan said, "Without pressure, there is no professional sport," quote unquote. Mm-hmm. Now, here's my favorite damn quote. Novak, "If you are aiming to be at the top of the game, you better start learning how to deal with pressure, you better start learning how to deal with pressure and how to cope with those moments on the court, but also off the court."
Now, this is where I'm going to come back to it. You asked me what I thought. I agree with Djokovic that in the world of professional sports, there's going to be tremendous pressure. If you're a race car driver, there's no joke. You're going to go fast, really fast, possibly 2 inches from another car or 2 inches from a concrete wall. If you're a boxer, you're going to get hit in the face. It's going to happen, okay? If you are somebody who is doing something, there is tremendous amounts of pressure. There is going to be stress on your mind. There's going to be stress on your body, stress on your emotions. There may come a point where that causes you to mentally really struggle. Right. I holistically believe that can happen. But like Djokovic said, if you want to be at the top of something, you have to find a way. And I think that as professional athletes have a responsibility to put themselves in a position to be able to handle it as best they can. Here's how I feel. I do not believe that you should glorify quitting. I do not believe it is heroic. If it's the decision that you need to make for yourself, I respect that. And that's where it stops for me. If you need to walk away for whatever reason that you have, because something inside of you has broken, something in your mind has doubt, something in your mind has fear, you need to walk away. Okay, fine. I don't begrudge you, and I hope you get well. I truly do. I really do. But it is not heroic. What Naomi Osaka did in Paris was not heroic. What Simone Biles did, in my opinion, was not heroic.
And can you remind everybody of what happened in Paris? She won a match and then pulled out of the tournament, right?
Yeah, because she refused to talk to press.
Because she didn't want to talk to press.
And
that has nothing to do with mental issues.
Agreed.
Her and Simone Biles are two completely things.
No, yes.
Two completely different things. Osaka is a coward, and that's just the truth. Osaka, she's saying, well, they asked me these questions. They belittle the tennis players. Girl, you have your braids. You're acting like you're all cool and this and that. You're hanging out in LA. I mean, you're choosing your tournaments. You just don't want to lose, and you just don't want to be asked about it. What Simone Biles did was a little bit different.
A little bit different.
I don't agree with her. But at the same time, I can understand why she did it. Like many of you mentioned, gymnastics is a tough sport. Mm-hmm. Mentally, if you're not there, absolutely, you can get hurt. And I would hate to see her hurt. So you don't feel, and you're not confident enough to do it. If I'm in her shoes, I wouldn't do it either. I don't want to be paralyzed.
If I'm a race car driver, I don't feel like I can drive 200 miles an hour anymore. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go crash into somebody or get myself killed. I mean, it takes common sense. And again, that's why I said I don't begrudge her. I don't want to glorify it. I don't think it should be celebrated that she walked away.
No, you shouldn't be saying she's a hero for it.
She's not a hero.
People deal with issues. Yeah. I just feel bad for the person that could have filled that spot. Yeah. They could have gone to the Olympics. These girls worked their whole life since they're little girls for this big moment. She already won 4 medals. Yes, she has nothing to prove. We know she's the GOAT, has nothing to prove. Yeah. We've seen many articles about the yips. You were going to mention that. Yep. I mean, gymnastics is a tough sport. Mentally, you have to be strong. It's not the same as tennis. Yes, you have to be mentally strong, but you're not going to get hurt really on the court playing tennis. Yeah,
worst things can happen to you out there.
Yeah.
I don't know, what sprain an ankle, miss a forehand, whatever. Now, you had a terrible injury out there, but that's after years and years and years of putting your body through it. It can happen, overuse injuries, but in gymnastics, one of your students this morning made a very good statement. I'll let you guys take that. Dylan.
All right, so I'm going to interject here for a minute for a dose of poll questions, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and I want to read Simone's comment because he has some information I've never seen about Simone.
Oh, by the way, is that Simone Simonovic?
Yes, he has something that she was taking. Okay, was not allowed to take in Japan.
A shout out, by the way, to Simone Simonovic. I think Simone Simonovic is one of the very first viewers of this channel. When we were just sitting on the porch, I had no idea how to do any of this, and we still don't. But also someone out there by the name of Charlie, I think. I'd never seen his name before, and they were on the chat before the show started. So welcome, Charlie or Charles. Great to have you, and much love as always, T. Simone. Mm-hmm. Do you want me to go ahead with my take now on this, or do you want to?
Let me just read his comment. Charlie is on, but let me read Simone's comment.
Let's go, Charlie. Come on.
His comment is, Simone Simonovic. Interesting thing about Simone Biles is that she has a history of taking medications which are legal, which alleviate depression, nervousness. Unfortunately, in Japan, these medications are not allowed, and she could not take them. That is a combination with other things affected her. And obviously, she could not stabilize and prepare for competition. Yep. I mean, the other thing we know about her, the other thing we know about her is they're not scoring her fairly. So I'm sure at the same time, she was dealing with that pressure.
Can you imagine as a tennis player that, you get 15 for hitting a winner, right? Well, let's say if you're Del Potro back in the day, biggest forehand I've ever seen. Well, every time you hit a forehand winner, it's only going to be 7.5. You got to hit 2 to get 15.
So in other words, the metaphor is you have to hit 2 down the line backhands to everyone else's 1 in order for you to get a point.
Yeah, that would screw my head. Yeah. I mean, think about it. I mean, and then not to mention this information from Simone, great research again. And what I was going to say about Dylan, one of their students, was that this morning he said, look, if you go up there from a high elevation and come down and you don't feel like you've got your body under control, you can end up paralyzed. You could hit the ground hard and break your neck. And in tennis, okay, my serve's going to go out. I'm going to double fault. What the hell? Nobody gets hurt. Just your pride.
Right.
In this, you could lose your life. So I mean, if you really don't feel, and again, Simone Biles, not a hero, but definitely not someone that needs to be demonized in the media. Not at all.
All right.
Well, Charlie says we don't know what Osaka might be potentially struggling with outside of tennis.
Good point.
Could have heightened her mental health issues over the past couple months.
Okay,
then why even show up to the Olympics?
Well, and welcome, Charlie. Thank you for the comments. I've really enjoyed them. Look, my whole mindset changed with Osaka is when her boyfriend was draped over her center court Arthur Ashe Stadium, flipping the bird to everybody, and we had to lap it up. Now, I had to work my butt off to have an opportunity to go there on apprenticeships for 2 years as a stringer. I worked my ass off and got nosebleed sections to watch Federer play Djokovic and then Federer play Murray. I worked really hard and still don't have much to show for it besides a few old credentials, right? But here you are. I don't care if it was. And we all remember the picture, but that's when my mind changed. And it seemed like right around that point in time, she went from being Haitian/Japanese to African American.
Don't say it, Justin, because you're gonna.
I'm gonna get fried for it.
To me, when I saw her at the Olympics,
let her say
I'm like, wait a minute. I thought this girl was Japanese Haitian. She really doesn't look like that. She looks now like the rapper's
she's got the
girlfriend.
braids.
I'm like, what is it? She's not Serena.
I'm like, what are you doing?
She is not Serena. I'm like, what is she trying? Is she like lost in like where she's from?
Yeah, and
what is she supposed to be?
It's like, is she a tennis player or is she like a hip hop wife? I don't get it.
Now, look, I'm just completely speculating when I say this, and I'll be diplomatic again. It's possible that maybe she's struggling with some identity things. That could be part of her mental health issues. It could be. I don't know.
Point.
I don't know.
Up on that. That's a great question.
Could be.
You're
right.
Who is she?
No. But again, when she walks on the tennis court, her job is to hit the damn ball inside those lines. Period.
That's it.
That's her job then. I don't care what she wears. I don't care what color her hair is. What she wants to identify as. You know what? She's a cultured person. It's wonderful. I'm glad that we have that out there. That's great that we can freely speak across the globe on this platform to people in South Africa or Serbia or wherever. You know, between the three of us, I've been to Honduras, I've been to Belize, I've been to Mexico, but I love my country, the United States. You know, it's great that we can sit here and have these conversations. But at the end of the day,
you have lived where?
I lived in Belize, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the end of the day, you know, if you're a tennis player and you're struggling with some identity things, that could really affect your focus. But by the same token, it's her job.
Yeah.
You know.
And she doesn't need to. Charlie said, if Osaka didn't turn up the Olympics, wouldn't people be bashing her, saying she's not even bothering to represent her country? I don't think so, because then we would be like, you know what? Then she really is dealing with something.
But
to me, I would have preferred she never showed up. But I'm glad she lost.
Yeah. But we glad she lost. But Charlie, I agree with you, but disagree in a way. And the reason why is when we started doing the show 3 years ago, there was a point in time where Osaka was trying to figure out who she was going to play for, Japan or the United States. She was trying to figure that out, and ultimately she went with Japan. So I have a hard time believing that the masses of the Japanese population are 100% bought into Osaka. And why do I say that? I grew up in a military family. My father flew aircraft in the Navy. My father's father flew aircraft in the Navy. Anyway, they respect the Japanese soldier. Why? Because they fight to the death. Hence the kamikaze pilots that flew into ships in World War II, right? Their families would walk them out to the airplane, and their family would be so proud that their father was never fixing to come back because he was going to die for the emperor. Japanese people fight to the death of the bloodline. Fact, and that's respectable and humble. And that's why you'll see, thank you, because you respect them, because you know they will fight you to the absolute damn death, and they damn sure ain't going to freaking quit. That's why I don't think that the Japanese are 100% bought into Osaka. It's because she's a habitual quitter, and she's not going to fly her aircraft into the damn side of the French Open. Shut up. Make any freaking sense? Hit the books. The Japanese people don't buy into quitting because they'll fight you till they die.
Oh, fact. By the way, we are doing the Dolphin Island Cup.
Wake up.
Jack Nossi says, I say Naomi uses social media and opinions on it too much. Simone says the Japanese are no longer like that, Justin. That
it's in their heritage. But someone.
Oh no, I had Japanese friends that were mixed with Spanish, and I can tell you those guys were like warriors. I'm sorry,
let's go.
And that's my era. Just saying. I don't know.
I will say this. I have been to some hibachi restaurants, and when I pissed off the cook, he did look at me with that knife and be like, "Do you want your steak medium rare?"
Seriously, man, I'm not even kidding about it.
Wildlife, you could be right. You know, Osaka's lived in the U.S. since she was 3, and that's a big part of it. So Americans are wimps.
Then why are you playing
That
for
could be
Japan?
it. Americans are wimps.
I will say this. This is something I've had an issue with. Maria Sharapova, who basically grew up in Florida.
But she was a fighter, though.
Hell of a fighter.
Act like
not
she was
not a
Russian.
quitter. Not a quitter. You know, Osaka, you know, she's playing for a country she really hasn't spent much of her life in. I'm not a big fan of that, but whatever. You can identify however you want, but the fact of the matter is that Japan is not really the reason why she's good in tennis. I mean, would you agree?
Has nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it. Yeah.
Nothing to do with it. Did Japan pay for her tennis?
No, I don't know.
I think that was, a part of the predicament why she couldn't decide which flag to fly. So I think that's part of the reason why the Japanese population, I can assure you, I don't think I don't think the Japanese population was devastated when Naomi Osaka lost. I do think that the Japanese population was devastated when their own
got beat.
Nishikori, but another one even deeper. The number 1 player in the world in badminton is Japanese, and the number 1 player in the world, Japanese, lost.
Michael says they paid for her tennis. Where do you find that?
They didn't pay for all her tennis.
They paid for her tennis in the U.S. Where?
We talked about this before. We've looked up the research, and if I'm wrong, we talked about
the research. Send it to me because I'd love to see where.
100% paid
where
for
they
the
paid
tennis.
for.
I think that's true. But,
I mean, Russia didn't pay for Maria Sharapova to play at Nick Balater's camp.
No.
Please show me that.
Yeah, I would love to see that one.
Michael says quitting sucks, period. Not heroic, but it's a standard of excellence, and we all have to accept it.
No. Now, can I ask everybody a question?
This guy says they're not bought into Osaka because she doesn't have the look or the mannerism of a typical Japanese person.
Oh, the way she's braiding her hair isn't typically Japanese either, and she walked into her own home country looking like a diva. Go make sense of that. I don't know. The hair choice there was stupid. Mm-hmm. She should have had it simple. She should have had it clean and neat, just like her own country that she's representing.
And the way she showed up, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah. She didn't play that bad. She won a couple of rounds. Vondrasova's having a great tournament. Deserved to beat her. She outplayed her. And see, for me, that's what I focus on. I mean, for me as a tennis player, when I'm out there, if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. But I'm out there trying to focus on the tennis ball. I'm trying to do that job. That's the job I'm there to do. All the other BS on the outside is just going to screw with you. And ultimately, like I said, with Osaka, whatever she's dealing with, again, I hope she does get it right because she is a great player. She really is a great player. And I think that when she's on her game, she's good for the game. But right now, this has been a bad year. This has been even though she won the Australian Open, it's been a bad year for her.
Well, I'm saying, careful, Justin. I've gotten in real trouble trying to tell a woman how to do her hair before.
All right. Let me throw this out there. Is it safe to say that we can separate Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka in terms of their proclaimed mental health issues based upon sport? And let me elaborate.
Yes, you can see it in her
face. Let me elaborate. Let me elaborate. When Simone Biles got into a predicament at the Olympics, she was attempting to land a 2.5. She was on a vault. I think she was vaulting and she was trying to land a 2.5. That means 2.5 somersaults and then land on your feet, right? When she had the stumble, and I had to research this, so she went to the vault and only went around 1.5 rotations and barely landed it. Now, think about that. You're a trained athlete. You're in the zone. You're running down this thing. You go to the springboard. You jump up. You're fixing to fly 10, 12 feet in the air, doing flips and turning in all these different locations. You're in the air. You're looking for cues, and you land on your feet. She expected to do 2.5, but she nearly busted or ate it on a 1.5.
Yeah.
Now, how does this differ from tennis? So Biles pulled out, stating mental health issues. Okay, well, let's look at that. If she nearly landed on her femur like Conor McGregor did when he wasn't prepared for his last MMA fight, maybe that's a bad example. But in other words, if she would have landed on her neck there, she may be permanently in a wheelchair or worse, or not here on this planet.
Yes.
So in my opinion, I'm looking at Simone Biles as a young lady who is in a death potential sport. She may die doing that. She may be paralyzed for life doing gymnastics. Okay? And because she didn't even pull off near the trick she was trying to pull off, or maneuver, or however you state that, her life flashed in front of her face and said, okay, wait a minute. I almost nearly didn't complete a 1.5, much less a 2.5. Hold on, I need to take a step back. Maybe I want to have children one day and have a wife and family. Hold on. Okay? I get that. Naomi Osaka, on the other hand, has to talk to a few reporters in a damn room and can't hit a damn little 2.4 to 2.6 damn ounce tennis ball. That's what I call stupid. There's no difference between the two except the huge difference in sport.
Well, Justin, I think that with Simone Biles, she does not deserve to be vilified or demonized in the media.
But Osaka, you can argue that.
I could argue that because
you can argue that
because again, as a professional tennis player, and I use the word professional, I don't have to go to a press conference after I lose to Carla this morning. But if I had to, I'd have gone in there and said the same thing I said on the show. I got beat by a better player. But ultimately, it's part of your job. Mm-hmm. I expect people to do the job that they're paid to do, and that's what 99.9% of the world has to do. We get up, we go to work, we do our job. Her phone rings, she gets a lesson, guess what? She teaches it. I mean, plain and simple. Same thing with Justin. I have to go teach next week. That's what I go do. We do our job.
Well, Brian,
it's part of the job.
I can't do the show today because I'm just dealing with mental issues right now.
I don't want to talk to any parents.
I just can't, guys. I can't do it anymore.
You can't do it.
In reality in life, we all, normal people, not rich people, normal people have to deal with it. There is no help for that. We have to suck it up. Right? We
have to suck it up, and we have to live. We have to deal with it. And here's the thing. Again, I don't think there's a comparison. Naomi Osaka, as far as I know, is in no physical danger, whereas Simone Biles was in great danger if her body is. I read it this morning. It's called the twisties. When you've done something with your body thousands of times, but somehow for some reason you just can no longer coordinate those muscles, and you do risk a severe life-changing injury. She does not need to be vilified in the media whatsoever. I even support her decision. It just isn't heroic. It is a decision, an individual decision made by an individual. It might even be the right decision based on this information. It might be.
Awesome.
I mean, good for her. Good for her thinking I'm only 23, 24 years old. I've got a long life to live. I might want to have children one day. Well, guess what? Good for you.
I'm enjoying the Olympics, though.
Good for you.
Regardless of that, not enjoying tennis Olympics, I must say. Not enjoying tennis Olympics. Has anyone here really enjoyed tennis Olympics? Watching it?
Oh, I mean,
Djokovic is just
he's cruising through it.
Cruising puppy hater next for him.
Hey, by the way, Novak Djokovic's quotes that we read off, and let me read them again. I have to, because there's so much garbage in the world these days. Let me tell you someone that should patent something, or tell you something that you all should patent. We have to wear masks for COVID-19, right? We need to make a full body mask for all the bullshit in the world today. So you're totally shielded from all the bullshit. Anyway, patent the full body mask because we're going to need one soon. Okay.
We're going with second lockdown.
Remember, pressure is a privilege, my friend, like Novak Djokovic said.
Well, Michael Walker said Billie Jean King said that, so he quoted her.
Okay, a double quote. Okay, without pressure, there is no professional sport. Otherwise, it would be just, a Barbie doll house. And if you are aiming to be at the top of the game, you better start learning how to deal with pressure and how to cope with those moments on the court, but also off the court, right? Correct? Right or wrong? Now, Novak Djokovic is on his quest to get the golden slam.
Looks like it's going to happen.
And I think he got a golden set of quotes in response there.
Mm-hmm.
Great quotes, and he's got a tough match coming up against Zverev.
I think he should dominate Zverev.
He should. He did.
But you never know.
He did break the racket in practice against him the other day. I mean, he was obviously
intimidating him.
He was getting. I guess so, but you didn't break a racket with me this morning.
Nah, I don't
You weren't intimidated. That's why.
I feel like there's too many children in the world that need a racket for me to break a racket.
I would agree with you.
You know what I mean? It's precious to me. I couldn't do that.
I want to go back to Simone Biles for a moment.
Oh, I'm so tired.
Just for a second. Okay? Simone Biles, on the other hand, may have been snubbing the Olympics and may have been snubbing the media. Why do I say that? Well, we know that she was not going to be scored fairly. That was open. It's factual. It's not a generalization, right? So it is very possible that the whole miscue was maybe a misstep in a way to be like, hey, I'm pulling out of this. If you're not going to score me fairly, I don't need you.
Could be.
I think you mentioned that yourself.
Maybe she looked pissed. She looked pissed before she did
Yeah,
her.
maybe it was a controlled tumble and a half, and maybe because of the unfair scoring, she's like, I don't need this. I'm done.
Or all of you guys are depending on me.
So don't depend on me
Don't
anymore.
depend on me. I could see that. And like she was saying, screw everybody.
Well, I mean, if I'm a race car driver, you're going to give everybody else 10 more horsepower than me because I'm just a better driver than you. I don't want to race with you anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, and I give her the excuse because it's crazy that they even. But again, I told you, and I'm going to say it here: if she were Russian, Croatian, white, sorry to say that, they wouldn't have said that to her. That's my opinion on the whole scoring thing. Well, they cannot stand seeing this little firecracker do all these stunts. She's a black woman. That I wasn't going to bring that up, but I thought about that. You wouldn't have said that if she were Russian.
I agree with you too. What are they going to say? She's just superhuman.
I agree. You know what? And to me, that's what I call a damn shame because
it's a damn shame.
She's a gifted athlete. She has up to this point.
It's not a damn shame for Osaka.
I mean, been the greatest of all
time.
It's
a damn shame for Biles.
It is. It is a damn shame.
Osaka and Biles are in a different category as far as athletes.
I would agree.
Yeah. Complete. This girl, Osaka's won more slams. There's tennis players that won more slams than her. Justine Henin, why are we not talking about her? She has 7 slams.
Kim Fleischer's won more slams.
Come on, man. 4 slams. That's not a big deal. I mean, we got Serena, who's won tons of slams.
And Simone Biles never had someone drape around their neck and shoot everybody the finger after she just got off the floor routine. Could you imagine that? Simone Biles winning the Olympics and her thug boyfriend walk into the center of the thing and put his arm around her neck and flip off all of Japan? Hey, could you imagine that? Hey, that's what Osaka's boy did.
Let's talk about Serbia. Monica Seles got stabbed. Still won 8 slams and still won slams after getting stabbed.
Let's talk about that lady. Let's not talk about soccer.
You were talking about pressure? That's pressure.
Yeah. Charlie says, I can't believe there were some people who thought Nishikori had a chance against Djokovic today. They must have watched it.
Good comment.
Yeah, good comment.
Yeah. Like Nishikori got trounced.
Yeah. 6260, I believe. Oh, listen, I saw a comment. I don't know who it was from. Asked if I had watched the Osaka documentary. The answer is yes and no. I turned it on. I watched the first episode. I have a 10-month-old, and I watched it after I put him down, and then I got tired. I'll be honest. And then I kind of dozed off. And Osaka's voice kind of puts me to sleep. So I watched some of it. I plan to continue it eventually to learn more because I wanted to be more educated about Osaka and maybe kind of see it from a different point of view. But ultimately, yes, I haven't been able to watch the entire thing. So, but somebody mentioned that. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I see it on my Netflix thing, and I go pass. I just can't do it.
I did look at it. I did look at it, and I did finish one episode.
I just can't do it. I'm sorry. I just don't have respect for Osaka. I know B-Dog didn't like what I said.
Jack Nolte said that was me. He said it wasn't good. Yeah, and the one episode that I watched, I mean, I really couldn't give it an objective. I was, like I said, it was later at night. I was kind of tired, but volume was low. Wanted my son to sleep, but it was on, and it was neither here nor there for me.
He says, same. I want to see the other view things missing in it.
Yeah, because see, that's what I want to see, Jack. I want to see the other side of the argument, and and I'd like to learn something. To say, well, I don't necessarily agree with you, but I see where you're coming from. I mean, that's kind of what I was looking for. I haven't found it yet, but maybe we'll get there.
Good luck. You can watch Boris Becker's his whole documentary that he made or something. That was really good.
Jimmy Connors had one.
Yeah. I think McEnroe has one. Yeah. Serena's was good. All right, so let's go to Djokovic. Djokovic and Puppy Hater. Who will win?
I would favor Novak. I think it might go 3. Zverev is playing well. I mean, he's had a pretty good summer. I do favor Novak. I think that he wins it, but I think it could be a good match.
I think someone deadly that you have to watch out for in this Olympics is Carreño Busta. He's playing.
Busta, someone mentioned that.
Yeah, Carreño Busta, you're gonna have to be careful for. He is Djokovic-ish like. What do I mean by that? And he's not scared to go down dying.
And look, throat hack. He was playing Carreño Busta that day and had lost the first set to Carreño Busta that day when he did that. So there's a little bit of
maybe Carreño Busta should go. When he walks in there, he should go like this to him.
If he wins, I'm choked up.
Yeah, I don't. Zverev is soft in my opinion. He hates puppies.
He is soft.
He's soft, and Djokovic isn't soft. So the psychological matchup isn't good for Zverev walking on the court.
Agreed.
Carreño Busta is not soft. Honestly, I think Khachanov is soft. I don't think he's a man's man. He comes out with his backwards hat and says "come on" all the time.
He looks like a man's man.
That's Carlos' boy, but I still think
that's not my boy.
whatever. I think.
What's up, Chuku?
I think in the grand scheme,
Chukumika.
in the grand scheme of things, I think Khachanov is fairly weak. I think Zverev is fairly weak. I think Carreno Busta is the man on that side. Again, I don't think Djokovic will have any problem with Zverev. Maybe he loses a set, whatever, but he won't win the match. And then the real match will begin. But Djokovic, I still think, wins that match. I think Djokovic attains the gold, and I think
loses at the U.S. Open. That's right. PTSD when he sees PCB on the other side of the net.
it's possible.
I like that.
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
What's up, Stefan? What's up, Stefan Stezovic?
Oh, I will dunk on you, Stefan.
You must have a girlfriend because you're not
dunk
on
on you. Yeah, what's up with your love life, bro? We haven't heard from you in a while. We thought you might be dating or something. Or something like that.
I'm losing it.
When you're in love, like one student told me, she said, "I'm in love." I was like, "Oh, your tennis career's over."
Oh, it's done.
He might be in love. That's why he doesn't show up. Go ahead.
Stefan's in love.
Yeah, I didn't show up this morning either. I was in love, and then I got married. Now I'm just in work.
In work. Ryan, don't let her see this.
Yeah, you better show the wife the video.
Yeah, love you, honey.
She might be like,
thing today. I said about the U.S. Open, looking for beyond the Olympics, assuming that Novak wins, because I believe he will. Honestly, I think Carreno Busta, great player, fine guy, but I think that Djokovic will handle this. I think he'll handle Zverev. U.S. Open is to Novak Djokovic what the Australian Open is to Rafael Nadal. Here's why I say this. Novak Djokovic lost in the 07 final to Federer, the 10 final to Nadal, the 12 final to Murray, the 13 final to Nadal, and the 16 final to Wawrinka. Rafael Nadal lost in the Australian Open final in 2012 to Djokovic, in 2014 to Wawrinka, in 2017 to Federer, in 2019 trounced by Djokovic. I believe that Djokovic, having lost what appears to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finals in one tournament, and what happened last year, I'm not saying PTSD, but sometimes, kind of like with Nadal in Australia, who is a fine hardcourt player, who has won the U.S. Open many times, has only won the Australian Open one time, having to win a tough 5-setter against Roger, when Roger was kind of in a bit of a funk, to be honest with you. I think he was dealing with mono around that time. And he had just had kids, which is a big challenge. You know, it's a big change in his life because it was back in 2009, where Rafa has only won that tournament once. Novak, for as good as he is very much so considered the best hardcourt player probably of all time.
or the best player of all time.
Of all time, period, has not that is his second word slam. In fact, he has one more U.S. Open than he does a French Open. He has 2 French and he has 3 U.S. For a player that has 20 slams, to be as good as he is on a hard court, to have only won that tournament 3 times, I think that says something. And here's the deal. I believe that the reason why he struggles in New York is for a couple of reasons. One, I think it's at the end of the season, and I think everybody's a little bit spent. So I think anybody's kind of gettable, and anybody can kind of come out and do it. And like that year that Wawrinka, when he won it, when he won the U.S. Open, a guy like that hits a big, strong guy, body's built, hits a huge backhand, comes through, doesn't break down, not dealing with injuries or whatever, doesn't really give a crap because he's always been the underdog to Federer anyway in Switzerland. A guy like that. And yeah, Djokovic does hate the heat. Kudos on that. I do too. People are gettable in New York. I think it's kind of a wild card. It really is.
That's why I love the U.S. Open.
Okay.
Because I'm from there, and I love the heat, and I think anyone could win it. I think that the underdogs always have a better chance.
Can I give you my take on how this goes down at New York?
No, because you're going to say Novak.
Let's go! Come on! Ric Flair! Woo! Let's get down! There is no one even on this planet that's even in the same league as this man right now. And you guys are over here talking like, what are you even talking about?
Let's make the bet.
freaking dumber having this meeting. What are you talking about? He's sailing for the Olympics. He just sailed through Wimbledon. He just won the French Open, but all of a sudden, look, I'm going to have to flip the script at the U.S. Open. You guys are insane.
Shake your head if he loses. That's how much belief you have.
Okay,
I'm doing the tattoo.
You're asking me to shave my hair if he loses. Well, how about this? Cut off your arm if he wins.
My arm
You're asking me to cut off something that took me years to grow, and you're over here.
But you have so much belief, and you're like, come on.
Man, you guys are idiot. You are so far off this planet. I don't even get it.
Passion.
You guys are insane, man. Look, there's no who on this planet right now? Who on this planet right now has even come close to beating him? Besides losing 2 sets in Wimbledon twice to begin.
Why not say do a Djokovic tattoo on yourself then?
Okay, all right, I take it. Give it to me. Let's go. Lock that shit in. Get it on. I'll want my next tattoo anyway, and she won't give it to me. So what I'll do is I'll get a Djokovic tattoo with a 5K tennis logo. Lock it in. Do I get my tattoo with it?
If he loses,
I get it.
He's going to lose. Watch what I'm
saying. So I'm getting a tattoo then? It's win-win for
me. Hey, now I will say this. I haven't talked about it much. I am Croatian. I'm a 4th generation Croatian American. I am.
You're doing good in the Olympics for doubles.
Yeah,
but so Croatians.
2 Croatians in the semis.
So my heritage comes from an island called Brac, which is off the coast of Croatia. It's right next to Bosnia and Serbia.
And he's dissing on Djokovic. Go figure.
I'm dissing on now. And here's the thing, and I am a Djokovic fan, honestly. I'm a Djokovic fan.
It didn't just sound like it.
But no.
He's giving you stats.
It doesn't matter. This is a different year. This is a different Djokovic this year. He's chasing history, not chasing every other year.
Stats. I'm giving stats. I'm a Djokovic fan. But in all honesty, and this is just how I feel, I believe that he has put a lot into. I mean, look at this. He put so much into winning that French Open. Having to beat Rafa, which was one of the best performances of his career.
Rafa's a has-been.
He can't find anything bad about him, just that he doesn't like his style. You know what's the funny thing, Michael Walker? Like you said, he's a pusher, just like McEnroe. He doesn't like Rafa's game, but he's got the same type of defensive game. Then your freaking game is ugly.
I beat you the other day.
Barely. You want me to play it?
Yeah, I do.
Your game is ugly too. Rafa's game.
While he's playing Chris, I'll play you. We're 1.5 legs to stay with you again.
Why don't you get hurt? You got to see the doctor. You know your leg is not great. Come on now. Rafa is a defense player, and you complain and you bitch about him, but you have the same style. I wouldn't teach a kid your game.
I don't know.
Just saying.
Maybe because I'm married to a Spanish person and I can't handle it.
I'm Hispanic, not Spaniard.
Either way.
Okay.
Well, I believe that. I believe that. What was I going to say? I just lost my train of thought.
The U.S. Open is hard because he's putting blood into it.
He put a lot into it.
Yeah.
He put a lot into the French. He honestly, even though Wimbledon wasn't that difficult for him physically, he played a lot of tennis. I mean, he's won 3 slams. He's probably going to win this. What I'm saying is that the U.S. Open is, by statistics, not his best slam. It's been a very long year. And the U.S. Open is usually a weird tournament for him. It wouldn't surprise me if that continued.
But I don't get how this is you being a Djokovic fan.
Well, Justin, he's going by statistics.
But I understand that. But look,
he's put a lot of work.
Right. But I understand that.
It's not going to be easy.
But don't you think this year in which he's putting in all this work is a little bit different psychologically? We started the show talking about the psychology of Bios quitting or not Bios quitting, but Osaka quitting and Bios pulling out. Djokovic is like the antithesis of that, and now he has the history books. So don't you think that I don't feel that Djokovic is under pressure. I think he's enjoying the pressure. It has
something to do with
so because he is so far and away from every other athlete right now, how do you understand that he's just all of a sudden going to come and lose? Hasn't any of his other peers been playing the same damn season?
Wasn't he supposed to win the last U.S. Open?
I just get done with it sometimes.
Wasn't he supposed to win the last U.S. Open?
But he hit someone in the throat with a ball.
Anything stupid can happen.
If it was not for that damn throat hack and that match with Carreno Busta, then right now Djokovic would have 21. That's 21, Carla. 21. Djokovic would have 21 right now, and you know it.
Shut up. Like I said, you're biased. Anyway, Simone says for Novak the toughest is French, and then after the U.S. Open due to heat and humidity.
Well, and like I said, I am a fan, but going on statistics, the U.S. Open is a weird tournament for him. Do I hope he wins? Absolutely. But here's the deal. What I'm saying is that it wouldn't shock me if someone – look, He's 30-28 against Rafa. Rafa, Justin, I love you. He's not a has-been. The man can The man can still play.
At the French Open,
But Rafa has had a considerably better U.S. Open career, than Djokovic.
I'll take a bet with someone out there. I'll take a bet. I bet you Rafael Nadal loses at the U.S. Open.
That's a Djokovic with Kobe.
Look, I bet you
That's the quote of the day right there.
Look, I bet you Rafael Nadal loses at the U.S. Open prior to the semifinals.
Okay, whatever. Make a bet, whatever you want. You're turning red. Anyways, you can't stand Rafa, but Rafa, what has he? He doesn't smash rackets. Supposedly, you hate people that smash rackets and bitch about it, but yet that guy has never done that. He has always had sportsmanship. You bitch other players. I mean, what can you say bad about the guy?
Can I answer
besides his butt?
Can I answer that without you interjecting?
I'm just telling you.
When I was young, I was always told, be careful of your surroundings. But if you see someone stick their finger in their ass, you may not want to get close to them.
But don't guys touch their hands and they jiggle their balls and stuff while they're playing? So I've seen you do it. I've seen all our students.
So you go from a ball jiggle to an ass scratch?
You're talking about an ass scratch. That's probably something.
But now you got the balls jiggling. What's up with that?
Has anyone ever heard of song Jingle Bells? It's all in there.
I'm just saying, don't guys do that? I see it all the time. Don't tell me that.
On a tennis court, you see people jiggle their balls on a tennis court.
They're uncomfortable, so they're pulling. Get real.
What am I pulling on,
stretching it out? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. He has no reason to have his hand in his ass, and that's why I don't like it.
He said, don't pick on guys. You have to adjust certain things. That's what I'm saying. You don't know if the guy has a big butt, which he does. He's got to adjust his underwear. You don't know if it's just a thing, like a habit.
And don't forget about the Dolphin Island Cup.
Yeah.
And Michael said, yes, we do it.
Yeah, when the nice guy's getting uncomfortable with the ball jiggle. That's how we roll.
This guy said, you can't say anything about his court conduct. You can't.
That's all right. Look, Brian got uncomfortable.
No, Stefan, I'm not saying Nadal is going to beat Djokovic at the U.S. Open. That's not what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I think in order for Nadal to win the U.S. Open, Novak has to go out before that. That's my point, and I think it can happen.
I just got dumber after that.
Okay, I got dumber about that. You talking about, well, I don't like the guy because he picks his ass. Yeah, I see you on the court doing some strange things that I'm not going to mention.
What do I do,
that if somebody had a camera on you 24/7, they'd be like, ugh.
Okay, thank you.
Just saying.
All right.
Let's face it, so-called next gen, whatever you call it, they will have their fancy chances at the U.S. Open. Probably.
They might.
They might.
Yeah, and again, odds are Djokovic will go in the favorite, but it just wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me because it is just a weird tournament for him. Like the Australian Open is a weird tournament for Rafa. If you'd have told me, as someone who's out of the tennis loop, that Rafa Nadal has 20 slams and he won a bunch of French Opens, I'd have still said he'd have won 3 or 4 Australians. And if you'd have asked me that Djokovic, who's won damn Miami and Indian Wells and Toronto and Cincinnati, all these Masters won thousands of bazillion times, he'd only have 3 U.S. Opens out of 20. Mm-hmm. And he is the best hardcourt player ever, I would have been surprised, right?
Exactly.
Everybody has a tournament where, for whatever reason, look, I'll admit to this. There was one facility in Mississippi. I won a lot of tournaments in my life. I've won over a dozen. There was one facility in Mississippi. I never made a final. And I don't know why. I just hated playing there. It was a nice place. The people were friendly. But when I played there, I lost in the semis every time. Every time. I never made a final with this one place, and I won over a dozen tournaments. I won everywhere on the Gulf Coast but that place. Never made a damn final. Sometimes
I had a place like that.
Sometimes people just have your number. It's just places have your number for whatever reason. It's in the air.
Yeah.
By the way, do not forget to hit the subscribe button for the U.S. Open. Yes, that's next major. We are giving away $300 cash in one competition, and we are giving away $50 times 2 $50 winners, and a separate competition that will be fantasy teams. The only requirement is to be subscribed, so don't forget to hit the subscribe button because you shall be entered in the competition.
And Justin's tattoo, I thought about it.
That could be it.
That could be attached.
Appreciate that.
Let's talk about the Australian swimmer.
Let's go. Okay, next topic, and this is a good one. Carla and I are coaches. Ryan coaches as well. Coaches tennis and also coaches children in the classroom. So Carla and I were watching this Australian swimmer, and Carla has the name, take down Katie.
Ariarne Titmus.
Yep.
Ariarne Titmus.
Took down Katie Ledecky,
Yeah.
the U.S. swimmer,
Yes.
and I forget the event. I think
200 meter freestyle
and as well the 100
meter freestyle.
Yeah, the 100 meter, yeah, as well. So after Ledecky, or excuse me, after Titmus won the gold medal, there was a video of her coach celebrating this win. And when Carla and I saw this video, we were like, yes, let's go. That's exactly how coaches should react when their players win. Carla, show the video.
Coach's name is Dean Boxall.
Let's go.
All right.
I almost said German. I can't see it from there. Yeah, you see if you can see it from there.
Let's put it on.
You got it?
Yeah, let me know if you can see it. Hold on. Put it here. Flip. Here we go. Yeah, I'll lower it because I'm moving my head.
Yeah, watch the coach. Yeah, you made the right call. Watch the coach.
Can you see it?
It's
Oh yeah,
pixelated.
it's very good.
It looks like Justin.
You can see the coach.
He looks like
Watch
Justin.
watch him.
That's you.
Yes,
That's you.
show
That's
it.
you right there.
Show it again.
That's you.
That's a coach.
You guys look like twin brothers.
That's a coach reacting, man. Can you show that again?
You even have the same body type.
Can you rewind that again? Yeah, you don't have to go to the beginning. Here's Ashley.
20 years old.
Yeah, here we go.
I almost thought that was you for a second.
Here comes coach.
Now that is passion right there. I love this. I mean, I think this is incredible. It's great to see the energy. It's great to see someone who just is really behind their player and is just celebrating this moment that
That's you,
they
baby.
work so
That's
hard
you.
for.
That's you.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Let's go. That's how coaching should be.
I think that's amazing.
Is that Justin? It looks like him, right?
Justin
Right.
coaches. Justin. Before the tennis match today, he was trying to teach me how to dog paddle, and it didn't help me a damn bit in the match.
Yeah, not really. Okay.
Justin's Australian? No, that's her coach, guys. It looks like Justin. That's her
So,
coach.
okay. By the way, has anyone ever watched Olympic diving? Diving, this,
Yeah.
and especially synchronized diving. But anyway, any
tough.
type of diving.
Tough. I wouldn't do
So, these divers, they run out into a diving board and they jump on the springboard or whatever, and they, do their tricks, and then they land in the water. At the same time, you notice a fountain of water spraying into the water. Has anybody noticed the water shooting into the water as these guys and gals come down?
I've always wondered about that.
Look, I didn't make this up on my own. I saw it, and I've wondered this since I was very small. I didn't really wonder it. I just would see it all the time, and I'd pontificate. I was like, why are they shooting water in the water? How does that help, and why is it on every pool that I ever see, at least in professional diving? It builds perception.
Yes.
Now, why did this perception builder resonate with me as a tennis player and coach? Because the left hand, the non-playing hand for a right-handed player, or the right-handed player for a left-handed player, builds perception for us on serve with the fingers going up as we toss.
Overhead.
And as well on overhead. Here comes the ball. We point at it. Why is that important? Because we are able to, on the tennis court, put the ball away, bow, a lot easier with a lot less risk if we build perception with the finger. Look at a rifle. Someone shoots, right? They look down the sight. There's not one sight here next to their eye and nothing else. There's a sight here and there's a sight at the end of the rifle, right? So you're able to see and perceive. So I thought it was pretty cool that in Olympic diving that they had a perception meter, which was by shooting water from the side of the pool into the pool. Mm-hmm. So when you're flipping around there and you're wondering where you are, you can look and see the water hitting the water instead of a clear pool, and you can help perceive your landing.
And any pro athlete in just about any arena, if I'm a boxer, I want to know where I am in relation to the ropes. Yeah. If I'm a race car driver, I want to know where I am in relation to the wall, obviously, or other cars.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You have made 7 or 8 references to race car driving.
Yeah.
Are you a race car driving fan?
Yes.
NASCAR, Indy?
I'm a fan in general. I watch the Formula One sometimes. I like Lewis Hamilton. I made the IndyCar reference on one of the shows. Helio Castroneves, who's won.
What about the Verstappen guy?
5. Oh, Verstappen's great.
F1 fan?
Yeah, Austrian guy. F1's
good for you.
Yeah.
I like this.
I am a NASCAR fan. I've been to Talladega about 11 times.
If you had to choose F1 or NASCAR, who would you have? If you could only go to one race and it was either Formula One or NASCAR, what would you choose?
NASCAR. NASCAR because it is, it's United States. I like F1. I think it's very prestigious. I'd love to go, but if I had to pick, I'd pick NASCAR. I've been to many NASCAR races, and I do appreciate it. I love speed. I love going fast. I drive a good go-kart. I've driven high-speed go-karts. I can do a 29-second half mile in a go-kart.
All right, last thing.
Verstappen.
Yeah, the Austrian. Yeah. Verstappen's having a good season. I don't know if he's the point leader. I watched the Austrian Grand Prix.
Didn't they almost just get in a fight? Hamilton and Verstappen, like someone hit somebody.
They have a good rivalry. I did see that Verstappen whooped Hamilton in Austria a while back at the Austrian Grand Prix. He won the race. And by the way, shout out to Austria. I loved your national anthem in that race. If you watched it on ESPN, the national anthem for Austria was great. I loved it. They had a whole drum kit out there. It was amazing.
So
excellent.
What is MotoGP?
Moto Grand Prix?
Yeah.
Isn't that motocross?
Yeah, motocross.
Motorcycles?
Yeah.
Isn't that motorcycles?
I don't follow that as much. I'll look at it sometimes on my phone, but yeah, I'm a big racing fan. I really appreciate race car drivers, but in all sports. I mean, I watch basketball, I watch other things, baseball. Spatial awareness is everywhere. You need it. You need spatial awareness, and I like that. Even in swimming, you have to have a way to orient yourself, and it all goes back to, in a lot of ways, to safety. If you don't know where you are out there, I mean, even on the tennis court, if I'm chasing a ball and I don't know where the freaking fence is, that could be a problem. You got to kind of know what's around you. We have to be very perceptual as athletes.
Exactly. All right. On the last show, last thing I got, you're welcome to take as many comments or topics as you want. This is the last thing I have. The last time we did a show, we indicated that the United States had not won a gold medal or any medal at that point. The last show we did, the United States had won 0 medals on day 1 of the Olympics for the first time since 1972. I did write this note the day after that. We just didn't do a show. That the United States not only caught up, but passed everybody. So the updated medal count for the Olympics is?
U.S. currently for total medals at 38. China, 31. Russian Olympic Committee, that new country, I don't know where that is, 28. Japan, 25. Australia, good for them, 20.
Now there's an asterisk.
Why did someone say USA is in 3rd?
Gold medal.
And gold, that's the gold count. Yeah.
We're down by 1.
And that's a solid count. Yeah,
They're 15.
Wait till track.
Yeah, when the track and field comes, and then it changes a a little bit. The Chinese fall behind in track.
They don't got the legs. No.
Yeah, the
beasts come out.
Yeah. Now there's different countries that stuck up in track. That the Jamaicans, the Kenyans, and the Kenyans in the marathon. Now the Chinese make up for it with missile silos. So they may be down in medal count now, but they are heading upwards in missile silos. So good luck with that.
Yeah, swimming does miss fellas.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This guy asked if I'm a fan of soccer. Honestly, not too much. I will watch it sometimes. I like the Women's World Cup. I watch that, but I don't follow it that closely. But I mean, in general, there's very few sports I don't at least dabble into. But I'm obviously tennis is my number one. But I play different sports. I was an okay basketball player. I was an okay baseball player, so on and so forth. I was okay at a lot of things, but, I like sports in general. That's why I'm here with these guys. I mean, we have a lot in common. I'm a huge Djokovic fan, but by the same token, I also have a tremendous amount of respect for Rafa. Roger, he's kind of worn on me, to be honest. But
I don't watch soccer much unless it's like the World Cup, but I don't watch the women, especially after some kneel.
Yeah,
and I don't like that stuff.
And Ryan just said it perfectly. People, say that we're not Federer fans. Look, I've said this. I don't want to say it again. I've tattooed it's on my back. So it's just, you just said it perfectly.
It's worn on.
It's worn on us. It's like, okay, it's
true.
just worn on.
I feel like he should enjoy life.
It's just like, okay, what are we doing now?
Yeah.
Now it's legacy hurting. So it's not like we didn't love him, and not that we don't think he's the most beautiful player to watch, not the best player, but the most beautiful to watch. I can agree with that. And outside of Stefan Edberg, again, or Justine Hen, I'll always make reference to those two. But Federer now has just worn on you. It's just like, enough, dude. You're not beating anybody anymore. Everybody can apologize to me that told you this a year ago. Never will get that apology, though. It's okay. I don't need sorries. I'm ready to go! But anyway, what does that say?
Well, he has to play Chris, so.
Oh, yeah. Okay, anyway.
He has church practice.
So I got Mamacita Españito, necesito
No, he's
saltar,
telling me.
ándale, dale, vamos, teniente, let's go. That's what she's telling me. Let's go.
he's telling me guys by 30.
Necesito adentos.
All
What I do it every day.
Well, they're supposed to play, and Christopher has church practice at 6:30.
Did you like pepperoni on the pizza you just ordered?
Sí, señor.
All right.
All right.
All right, guys, that's it. We will see you very soon.
Great to see everybody.
Bye.
I hope to be back here soon.
With the sack of gold nuggets by Novak Djokovic.
All right. End stream?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Don't forget the Dolphin Island Cup, guys. Like and subscribe.
I was going to my phone to do that.
Yeah, don't do that too quickly.
I just did it.
And yeah.
All right.